Look at that wonderful copper beech, 400 years old. And here, a lad of mine, Jan Eves. Now he planted this tree, albeit about 13 years ago. It's a weeping Cicidophyllum, a weeping Katsura. Cicidophyllum japonicum pendula. And it has this lovely, I love weeping trees because they add movement to a garden. And it goes a fantastic butter yellow in the spring, in the autumn, not the spring. It's the excitement still getting to me. Beautiful butter yellow. And you get that fantastic scent of burnt sugar or candy floss. Ignore the old silver thing at the bottom. We use that for sticking over rhubarb. It forces it on early. Still gives you the shits, of course, but you do get it earlier. You just get the shits earlier. I'm digressing again, aren't I? Anyway, you can tell spring is here. There's apple blossom everywhere. Wonderful, isn't it? That colour combination of white, blush pink and clean yellow. Well, yellow-green. There is just something about apple blossom. They use the name apple blossom on all sorts of like scents and room fresheners and all that sort of guff. I don't know why, because it don't actually have any bloody scent. It's like forget-me-nots. They call perfumes forget-me-not. Why do they do that? It don't have any scent. Marketing, I suppose. But I am spoiling a beautiful morning with cynicism. Stop it. Up these paths, right from that end, you can see down to that end, down here, past that barrow. You see there's all these along this edge of this path. There's all these apple trees. They are an A to Z of apple. There's one apple for every letter of the alphabet here. There's that lovely apple blossom again. Anyway, yeah, I had the idea some years ago, and then I thought, well, what are you doing that for? It's a twat of an idea. But I persisted with it, and now I'm quite glad I did, even if it is a bit nicky-nack. And here, beds, young perennials coming on, mid-range perennials coming on. These are shrub stock beds. These will go down into the sales beds in time. There's a barrow load of plants there. Now most of our plants, they have to be fertilised, weeded. They've stood the winter. They have to stand out the winter here. That way we know they're hardy. I ain't about to sell plants, and I'm sure nobody here is about to sell a plant that we know isn't hardy. It would be the wrong thing to do. As usual, we utilise the wall. We've done films about this before. But right the way along there, 87.5 yards, well, I think it might be a bit more, the base of that wall, radiated heat, and all our young shrub liners just have sat out there since late winter. And now they're really starting to move, these little rhododendrons, picking up a bit of power from the heat, from the sun. Camellias, some lovely holly, a lovely twisted leafed Lawsoniana. More hollies, Sambucus, Black Beauty. Look at these little boys. Happy as Larry up there they are. You can probably make out in the background there the lovely yellow of Euphorbia palustris. Super little plant. Stream side is nice. You can probably hear blackbirds and things in the background. Even though I say it myself. And I better add, because no other bugger's going to, this is an English nursery at its best. This is not a garden centre. You won't find any nodding dwarfs here. You won't find any garden gnomes. I don't have a thing about gnomes. I'm not bloody gnomist. But you won't find any outdoor clothing, stuff like that. What you will find is plants. And if I'm not correct, isn't that what a nursery is all about? The raising of plants. We have to do it in a really hard area. Some of these trees are well known. Look at that lovely gold tree there. That's a maple called Princeton Gold. It's new. Absolutely beautiful it is. Imagine a 30-foot bugger of that in your garden. Wonderful. And then you come out here. There's shrubs. Younger trees growing on. Maiden trees. You can see the colours and the differences of the leaves of the different prunus, malus, sorbus. These are young fruit trees. Plums, apples. A lot of these will be used. They're maidens, and they'll be used for growing into espaliers or fans or half standards. Again, that's what a nursery does. That's not what a garden centre does. A garden centre buys plants on. They don't grow them on, they buy them in. They stick a price on them and then they sell them. If I were to do that, that wouldn't make me a nurseryman. That wouldn't make anybody here a nurseryman. I'll make them a fucking shopkeeper. And then you come down into the perennial beds. Roughly it starts at A. We've just been looking at some of the overspill beds. But it roughly starts at A. I like to say, people, it's alphabetical but not in order. That really confuses. It's a lovely time because not only are you just starting to get some warmth and some sunlight, you're starting to get people in the garden. And we have a very short window here to make any money. And as you go on, you just have to hope that people are going to turn up. There's Roy there getting on with his watering. That's his old missus over there bringing them down. I'm going to have to see her about them because they're not the best of plants.
We've had about eight baskets, and this week we're down to 7 of them.
Baskets of what?
The baskets.
Oh yeah.
We had 8 at the beginning of last year. And then
Shopping baskets?
Sorry?
Shopping baskets?
Yeah. And then at the end of last year we were down to 7.
That's because the bastards nick them.
But one week we had 8.
Oh, I know. Well, they've nicked them. They use them. They put water lilies in them and shove them in a pond.
But where did the 8th one come from the other week? And then it's gone again.
Don't know. Perhaps somebody had a
Had a
touch of,
conscience and brought
yeah.
it back.
Well, who can say? Helen's display's looking nice again.
Yeah.
And so the work goes on. Of a nursery having gardens, which makes us a nursery garden. It's so that you can, I'm going to use a buzzword, I'm going to use some jargon here. It's so as you can showcase your plants. What an arsehole. I should have been a teacher. Now, it's so as you can show off your plants, because your garden is, in many ways, it serves two purposes. It's both somewhere to show off plants, as I said. You can see what they do. It's also a stock larder. It's a place where you can store plants. And strains that have like the room that we have here, and various other plants like salmissias, it's a place where you can store your own genetic material. And all the time, these gardens are looked over by that big beech tree. It is strange to think that you get a sense of security from a tree. But there's a part of me while I'm here, it feels like it's just like a warden. It stands sentinel. It is just incredible. I've fallen in love with a tree. That's pathetic. But 400 years, it's seen everything. From Jacobite revolutions to wars. There's a thrush on there. On the lawn there. You don't see very many of them about these days. We have a huge population here, but then they have no natural predator in these gardens. There she sits. 408 years old. First World War, Second World War. Spring. Okay,